Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here, bringing your light. Let's join in the light of infinite being as we begin this session this evening. We ask for that direct connection with that inner light, that we may hear clearly and speak what we're hearing as such a gift to each other. Jesus, what would you have us look at? What desire would you have us look at for the healing of our mind and a service to the whole? And when we prayed about this about half an hour ago before the session, what we were hearing was that we would look once again at the desire for the experience that the ego is real, of making the ego seem real. And that's just such a part of what we think is going on and what we're dealing with. The ego is real, and how do we find God when the ego seems so real? So let's look within and ask, Jesus, do I still have this desire for the experience that the ego seems real?
A few little threads.
Yes.
You see little footprints? What'd you say, Nancy?
Threads.
Oh, okay. All right. Yes, I have this desire. Yes. So Jesus has given this desire to look deeply at the seeming battle we put up about what is real and what isn't real. And we're being asked to go into our mind and ask Jesus to show us the where we want this. And so often it's not immediate. We're not immediately aware of it. In fact, we may actively resist even admitting that we have this desire. So let's go into quiet contemplation and look within and be asking, Jesus, show me the wanting of this desire for the experience to make the ego real, seem to be real.
It's a lot of fear.
And what is Jesus telling you about that fear, Nancy?
I need to hide. There's a need to hide.
Okay, what else? What's underneath the need to hide?
Afraid of God. God will come after me.
So what I'm hearing in these cases where we feel fear or guilt or whatever, it's trying to protect a part of our belief system, a part of our personal identity. And what do you think it's trying to protect?
Trying to create a personal identity, to make one, a new one, a different one.
And what does Jesus say about that? Is that separate from God, or is that, what is it?
Separate from God, running from God, hiding from God. I've done something wrong.
And what's underneath that?
Abandonment. Being alone.
And what does he say is underneath that?
Love?
Is that what you're hearing?
That's what I heard.
So underneath the fear and the abandonment, and underneath all of that is love.
I want to be back. Yeah, it's there's a lot of crying and a lot of clinging, trying to, I don't know.
So we're just looking at what's underneath each one of these beliefs, these layers we have of the ego, till we get down to what's at the source or what's at the bottom.
Sin. And I'll never be accepted back.
And which voice is speaking that?
The ego.
So is that true or not true?
Ooh.
That you'll never be accepted back? What does Jesus say?
Oh, Jesus saying it's not true.
Is that something you can be with?
What do you mean? Something I want?
Is it something you can accept? That it's not true?
I have to change my mind. I have to admit that I was wrong. If Jesus says it's not true, wow, I'll change my mind, okay? If I'm wrong, I'm glad. Gladly change my mind. It'll take a few minutes.
Or not?
Okay.
So what we're just looking at is following down and asking Jesus, what's under this, what's under this, what's under this? And we finally get down to, there's nothing there. We've made it all up. But we have to let Jesus show us that. Because certainly the ego mind is not going to come up with that. So we're looking at the relishing of the desire for the experience of making the ego seem real. And that was just a great illustration. We think we have this feeling and this block and that block. And if we keep looking under it and ask Jesus, what's under this? What is this about? What is this about? Then we come to whatever he tells us. So Jesus, show us the wanting energy. Nancy, what?
What a relief.
what we're doing in honesty of God, which is so different than the way the ego operates. We're looking at what is true and what is not true, and asking within for these answers, and not the talking head, or the fear, the emotions, the feelings, the guilt, the whatever, all the stories we've made up. We're asking within, and we're asking with willingness to hear. Jesus, of what value to me is making the ego real?
What's coming to me, I don't know what this means, is that I can run races.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a runner, so I don't know what that's about.
I'm hearing competition. What value am I placing in this? No.
Sorry, what'd you say?
I just repeated the question. What value am I placing on this?
Thank you.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's being one step ahead of God.
Hmm. He's saying that I love feeling like I'm in charge and I'm creating myself. And somehow that's important and valued. And I get to judge and give meaning and compare and all these things that the Mary identity loves.
I can be quiet, I can be loud, I can be contrary. It's
Endless.
less. Good word.
Hmm. So we're looking at the relishing of making the ego seem real.
I can cover up God. I can cover up God with all the judgments and the stories and the identities. It covers up God. I don't have to look at God.
Hmm.
I really value the vanity.
So what works with this process, this particular process of looking directly with the light at these desires that deny God, is that we're able to get in touch with how much we really want a particular desire, because that's the only reason it's showing up, because we want it to, as hard as this is to accept at times. So just allowing Jesus to show us the wanting of this desire is where the rubber meets the road. We don't have to do anything else except be willing to look at it and allow ourselves to hear from within, however we hear that voice. The wanting of that desire.
For value, I'm hearing equality. I think that I get equality through making the ego real. Making the ego feel real, is that what it is?
Mhm.
Yeah. It's like I get to level the playing field somehow. And it's like a superiority though. Inferiority, it's like inferior, superior, but just pretending that it's making everyone equal.
Mm.
It's like I'm going to see that reflected, so God seems superior or God seems inferior. And I like to fool myself that way so that I can relish this desire.
Jesus, by relishing this desire, I think I'm getting what?
Mhm. Safety was another value that I'm placing on this.
I think I'm getting autonomy.
It's like a place in heaven. It doesn't really make sense, but it seems to be what I can get. I can like earn heaven to making the ego real.
And I'm hearing we could call the ego our personal identity, the way we see ourselves, how we've created ourselves. And that seems like in the moment impossible to let go of. I'm this, I'm that, I like this, I like that. I don't like this, I don't like that. I mean, there's constant interpretation, judging, evaluating, looking for what I think is happiness.
The personal identity is like an alias. I know it's not true, but I'm going to try it. See if I can make it real.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm getting an image of just like a big shield all around me, or that supposedly protects me and allows me to operate the way I want to operate. Take care of myself the way I want to take care of myself. Leaves me feeling separate, except for those occasional special relationships where, you know, I get what I want and others get what they want.
I'm really relishing the hell of it. It's like guilt, sin, fear. I'm loving it. It's like, I love my fiefdom. I'm like jumping around. This has been going on all day. So I'm just like watching it all come up. And wow. Without judgment, man, just look. It's really looking right down at that relishing.
And without judgment.
Without judgment, false identity.
Wow.
Look right at it.
Wow, that's great. Jesus, as I'm looking directly at this desire, am I holding on to this energy? Am I wanting to maintain my experience of the ego is real? Or is there any lightening up, any spaciousness? Is there any releasing going on of the energy that's held here? Is anyone hearing anything they want to share from Holy Spirit and Jesus?
There's some releasing.
Hmm. Jesus, show me where I think there's heaven in this desire.
I think I'm getting like patience, kindness, and gentleness from making the ego real.
Boy, all of this starts to show you how, you know, if there's any awareness of the holy instant or the light, if there's any awareness and a desire in our heart for that, it starts showing the great contrast, the flip we do between heaven and hell. We think this is heaven, and we don't want to see that it's not a very happy place.
It's been really showing me the face of innocence. It's just like, wow, I'm just like being blown away here at seeing this, how there is so much relishing for all the hatred that we have pushed down and kept. It's, it sounds weird, but it's like amazing because you can recognize how unreal it is. Sorry, I'm just, it's like, whoa, it's like the heat of it. It's crazy. And it's only to really trust to look down there. We trust. It's harmless, but it is, you know, the spirit's with you all the way. So
Yeah, it sure doesn't feel harmless sometimes.
no. This has been a long time coming, I'm going to be honest with you, but
Jesus, do we need to go deeper with this desire? And what more is there to see here? And what more is there to relish?
A lot of it has just, as soon as I said I was wrong, it just kind of crumbled. And it was fun. It was fun playing a part. It was fun being somebody in a body. That's about all.
Doesn't have all the glamour and pleasure it used to.
No, it doesn't.
Jesus, do I want this desire more than I want God? Which seems like a grandiose statement until we start really looking at it in the light. Or what goes on within my mind. If I look back over the choices I made today, which did I make with Jesus, with Holy Spirit, and which was I just off doing my thing on autopilot?
I don't want it anymore.
Yeah. Thank you, Nancy. You're a good witness to just like, okay, I'm done with that. Let's get with the program.
Yeah, I'm forgetting even what it was.
Hmm. So, Lamina, what are you hearing?
I'm feeling I have no desire for the ego. I've done this for years and years and years and enjoyed.
Could you put your mic up a little closer, maybe? It seems a little muffled.
I've enjoyed, playing the role of a victim, suffering, judging, blaming. And lately I realize I'm done with it. I don't want to do this anymore. I can see it's not working. So what I've been hearing is that I don't want it.
Mhm.
And I have been willing and ready to release it for a while. I've seen what it's done to my life and what it's been. Sometimes many times it comes up, but you know, I don't want it. I know that much.
Mm. Mm. Jesus, am I ready to see this differently, or is there, am I still hanging on? And yeah, what am I hanging on to? What am I trying to protect? Jesus, am I willing to see I might be wrong about this desire to want to make the ego seem real? Is there something I'm missing here? Something I'm not seeing? And am I willing to see it?
If there's something more here, I'm willing to see it.
Let's ask within. Is there more to see here? Holy Spirit, show me.
I'm with Nancy. I think I'm willing to see more if there is more, but I'm really tired of it. I've had enough.
Mm.
But if there is something more, then, you know, I'm willing to see it.
Mm. Let's ask if we're ready. Am I ready to accept a miracle? Am I ready to see this differently? I've heard two of you say yes. So let's ask yes or no. Am I willing to see this differently? The desire to believe or to experience that my ego seems to be real.
Yeah, I'm totally on board.
Yeah, me
Mm.
too.
It's yeah, just exposing it. Just keep exposing it. It's not real. So
Mm.
yeah, keep at it.
Mhm.
Willing.
Yes, yes, I'm ready.
I wish I wake up tomorrow and it's gone.
Mm. Yeah,
It's almost,
if we accept a miracle to see it differently, it's gone.
yeah.
It's
It's
gone.
it's
And we
almost
can
a
ask. Yeah,
yeah. I was just going to say it's almost a relief when you really see the relishing coming up. Like
yeah.
really get to it. Like say, yeah, I'm just go for it. Like really, like no judgments there. Like Jesus is saying, there's no
Just take
judgment.
it. Just take it. I'm done. Yeah.
Just go
Yeah.
down there and look and admit it. Just admit, my God, I want to kill God. I like bloodthirsty. You start seeing that and it releases because it's
Yes.
like just go for it. Like
Yeah, being able to admit that is so relieving.
Mhm.
unbelievable. Like
It's
the
like that's what we
murderous.
keep avoiding.
It's murder. It's absolute murder.
It's murder. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So let it out. Jesus wants you to let it out, to look and admit it and let it out. Because
Jesus, is my mind healed of this? Show me the healing of my mind with the acceptance of this miracle.
There's more. It's better, but with the I'm accepting the miracle.
And, you know, in this moment, we're willing to see this differently, and there still may be more that comes up. The ego really wants to go underground on this stuff, and it may show up later this evening, tomorrow, where we're like, huh, I'm not, you know, the ego is real. I'm not accepting purification of my mind. My mind's fine, thank you. Or not, or we just keep at it. Like I'm not stopping. Okay, I had a miracle and there's more to see. I can see stuff coming up. And the only option here is to keep going.
That's me.
The little engine that could, Nancy.
Toot, toot. Yeah.
And if we're not there, if we're hearing, well, there's more to see, we're not quite willing to let go of or step into, not let go of, because that seems to imply there's something valuable that we're letting go of. And it's just our perception of what we think the ego offers us. Am I willing to just allow Jesus to show me the miracle and be with it and rest in it?
Yes.
Kathy, are you hearing anything to share with us?
Well, the only thing I remember is the last thing I heard, which is that the ego wants its cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is I was just at the store buying eggs, and I heard it as the ego wants its eggs and eat it too. But I knew what it meant. It wants it, and then when I looked at it, I asked for clarification. It was like, and the ego wants its separate identity and wants its own world that it made. It wants to, blah, 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 everything we've seen. But it also wants the peace of God and the joy of God. And it thinks that it can combine those two, and it can get the peace of God and the joy of God through its own making.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I was left off. It was like the ego was digging in its feet on that. And
Yeah, I agree. I think I feel that way too. Many times. Yeah. That I want both.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's very powerful. This morning, the morning lesson was like about reconciling opposites. And yeah,
We think it's possible.
Power in that, yeah.
But I know it's not possible.
Mhm.
I mean, I've come to that feeling now. It's just not possible.
Mm,
So there's only one way to let it go.
mm.
And the ego's idea of God is very wrong.
Exactly.
A lot of concepts and beliefs. So Jesus, show me the healing. Show us the healing that's occurring in my mind. Am I willing to see it? It just feels lighter.
Yes. Yes.
Some of it went up in smoke, and some of it was purged.
Mm. That last line in chapter 20 of Jesus, the New Covenant, saying, who with this many desires could ever survive, could ever feel happiness? Something like that. So we just keep releasing him and asking, giving him over to the light, asking for help. Not really, I don't really understand what's taking place, but I sure feel a lot different than when I started this practice. A lot more gratitude and spaciousness. Is anyone else hearing anything they want to share this evening, or if they have any questions?
I find that I fall asleep not infrequently during these sessions, and I guess that's just okay. I think my body might be healing from something right now. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts about that?
Let's ask within. Let's ask within, see what we hear. Everybody ask within, what is falling asleep? Because I was doing that this morning. What is falling asleep about, Jesus?
I'm hearing healing.
Yes. Yeah. I was asking holding or releasing, and I heard releasing.
And I think the ego is not really there when she's sleeping. So I don't know. She's probably mostly healing, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, we really don't know. The ego mind certainly does not know. So we have to ask within, and not just grab the first thought that comes to our mind. Oh, it's this, oh, it's that, but really go deep. Because sometimes it might be avoidance.
Right.
Yeah, I have a big thing about sleep. So what does Jesus do? He gets me up in the middle of the night to go to the airport to fly anywhere. Sunday night, Monday morning, I'm getting up at 2:30 and catching a cab at 3:00 in the morning. That's happened every time.
I feel like doing what we're doing together, this might be wrong. I guess I should ask Jesus, but I feel like it's making waking up more gentle. It's taking the pressure off of the system, so that things don't have to be jagged and explosive. And I feel like it's making things easier.
Yes.
Does
I
it?
hear a big yes on that one.
For sure. I've been feeling these sessions have really, made it so much easier for me to explore, which I would have been going around in circles with the ego trying to chase me. So, this is so much better way of waking up.
Yeah, and well, I want to say power, but it's the joy of joining. You know, I'm not alone in all of being this feeling insane, you know, or ready to go and kill somebody. I told Kay, I'm so glad she's still alive, you know, after 2 years, and Renee. But yeah, you know, it's so comforting to come here and hear people say, oh my, and I'm thinking, oh gee, she said that, wow.
I actually look forward to these sessions because they're so supportive and so wonderful and so releasing. Even if
Yeah.
I don't have to, but I mean, say a word, I still feel this movement and this
Yeah.
shift. I'm okay with just sleeping, perhaps. I don't know.
Yeah, what I'm hearing is it just opens up that possibility that this is the direction that my heart is calling for. And there's something happening that I don't understand, and I'm coming back for more.
You know, I don't know if I will be sharing on that Facebook page with the light. What's it called?
The Light Brigade?
Yeah, just because it's a public group, and I'm not sure that this is a part of my experience that I want people on Facebook who I'm connected to who aren't part of the course to encounter. But I do have things sometimes I think about. Maybe I shouldn't have that limitation. I don't know if there was any consideration about what status to give that group, whether public, I think it's public, private, or secret are the three different. But I just mentioned that. I'm probably I don't imagine anybody else has that concern, but
We could ask Jesus about it. What is it? What is it about? What is the desire underlying this concern? What is the desired experience here underneath the concern that people you know might see what you're saying and what, judge you or what?
I'm just not interested in this part of my life being available to everybody I know.
Let's ask Jesus about that. Is anybody hearing anything? So what I'm hearing is something that is very present to me right now. And that is that in being here for 2 years, I have not been in touch with people that I thought I couldn't live without. And it because of the focus, my willingness to stay focused on the holy instant, on purity of mind, on asking and listening. And I have a close family, an extended close family, blah, blah, blah. And I have shifted I've shifted how I see myself and how they see me. And what I got up this morning and I joined with Kay to look at accommodation, that I want to accommodate my children, or I want to accommodate that somehow that was part of love. And so what I'm hearing is just that I think my relationships with people look a certain way. And when I start focusing on what am I hearing within and what is purity of mind, then what I think they think about me starts to fall away and it starts to shift. What I thought was important isn't the same anymore. So when we
Janice
Oh.
is speaking.
Janice, go ahead.
Sorry. whenever there's something that I'm trying to hide, it gets exposed. I've seen that happen over and over again. So I laugh because if it's public, I didn't know that. And I'm laughing because I didn't know. So obviously it was supposed to be exposed. So thank you.
Yes, I didn't know it was public either, and I don't care. It's really surprising.
Mm.
Well, I got off Facebook 10 years ago. Now I have just 6 or 7 friends, and they're all from the Course in Miracles. So it's fine. So I've lost all those friends on Facebook.
I'm hearing maybe join one-on-one with the mighty and just take a deeper look.
Hmm.
Yeah, Lael, I was thinking maybe you and I should join on that because I have the same issue.
Kathy, we can start a secret group and share everything we want to share about this. We can invite everybody here to join it, and then we can have privacy if we want. We don't have to force ourselves.
Well, actually, my resolution was setting up 2 separate Facebook accounts years ago when and Mike, to be honest with you, I actually was joining. It was not through this. It was a different kind of joining. I think a process I was involved in. And I looked at it and I got a clear no, don't set up 2 separate Facebook accounts. And I didn't listen, like I spent most of my life not listening to guidance. And I set up one for my immediate, like my family and, relatives, and then one for my spiritual friends and ACIM and all these. I've been in a conundrum with it ever since.
Well, thanks for speaking up, Kathy, so I don't feel alone.
Oh, believe me, the last thing I want is I'm the same. I've been hiding, and it's like, okay, and I'm just finding things are being exposed. It's like it's time. So I don't know. I'm just gonna let it.
And it seems to be, sometimes it seems like it's our ego wants to make into a process, but coming here and being honest is a step in being honest everywhere. And why not be honest everywhere? I mean, why do we want to hide?
I don't consider it dishonest. I mean, Jesus supposedly said in the Gospels, don't cast pearls before swine. I mean, he may not have said that, but, he didn't choose to say everything to everybody all the time according to how he's reported. Of course, that was all written 100 years after he passed. I don't consider it, for me, I'll reflect on it. I don't consider it secretive that I don't tell everything to everybody all the time.
And that's the way you see posting on Light Brigade or having this go out?
Well, I don't know. I just know that I'm not writing. I'm having a lot of experiences related to this listening, and I'm not expressing it on Light Brigade because I'm not interested in that being read more widely beyond people who are doing this with me.
Mm-hmm. I wonder how many of our associates or friends or acquaintances actually look at sites like this. Yeah.
Anyway, I just was curious because I didn't know if that had been done automatically, making it public, or if that had been done consciously. But if it had been done automatically, I was just going to say it could be reconsidered. But if it was done consciously, that's fine. It was
done in guidance. It was done in guidance. Yeah. Yeah, I think what I'm hearing is just exploring this more in depth, perhaps one-on-one, or and looking at what's below that and what's below that, and keep going to bring up whatever is underneath it. It's like the Course says, we're never upset for the reason we think. There's always something underneath it, and then there's something underneath that until we get down to the very core desire for a particular kind of experience, whatever that looks like. Yeah. So thanks for bringing that up, Lael. You got some good thinking going on here, good exploring.
I think I'm just having to be exposed. That's what
What's that? What's
I
that
just
mean?
feel like I'm just being exposed, and I guess I'm just going to let it happen. It's more of an embarrassment or shame that I feel. So it's getting opened up. So
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely emotional for me. I feel emotion. Of course, that's inside the bubble. But anyway, yeah, I feel emotion around it. And yeah, but I'm not going to put any expectation on myself that I have to feel or behave a certain way, because I'll just leave it up to my guidance, because I think, we all have different histories and experiences. We all have, I have 2.9 Facebook friends. A lot of them are comedians. Do you know what comedians are like? You don't necessarily want to show this shit to them.
We will just continue to look at this.
It's all about guidance.
Yeah, it really is checking in and asking.
Yeah.
Lynn, were you going to say something there?
Yeah, I had to step away for a few minutes. And then I came back to hearing this middle of this conversation. Am I gathering that these sessions are recorded and that they are released in public? Because
Yes,
that is a concern for me as well, if that's the case.
Yes, and I try to announce that at the beginning of each session that we are going to be recording these. Now, we record them for our own archives, but if we're prompted by Jesus, then we will extend them to course groups. And so if that's a problem to someone, they can darken their screen, they can join about it, we can look at it. There's a couple of options here, but it's like everything else, it's all done under guidance. And we try to be as transparent as possible.
What course groups are they released to?
Beg your pardon?
You said they might be released to course groups. What course groups are they released to?
All the usual course groups. There's about 25 course groups. There's a whole list of them on Facebook.
Lynn, we were also talking about the associated Facebook group that has the phrase Light Brigade in it, because that's set to public. And I was just saying that I'm not posting in there because I just don't feel like having everybody who knows me on Facebook conceivably read or see that. But this isn't just automatically uploaded to YouTube then?
No.
Will it ever end up on YouTube in public?
But it could be shared to 25 Facebook groups. So I think I'm gonna, if I join again, I'll be censoring what I say.
Well, I think I want to bring Kay in on this, because all of this is done in guidance, and it's also, what are we really focused on? If we're worried about what everybody thinks of us and that's what we're focused on, then it seems like we need to check in with guidance on this and find out what is it we're hearing about the real concern here. And so there's certainly not any intent on the part of the guidance we're given to expose everybody's, whatever personal life. That's not the emphasis at all. We're asking for inner guidance, and we're all looking to fulfill that desire of our heart to find the truth.
What's being exposed is not personal. What's being exposed in these joinings is the collective unconscious, the guilt, the ego. It's the same for everybody. And so any course group should it's completely in alignment with any course group. I don't see why that would be an issue.
Not only is it in alignment with course group, but honestly, it goes way beyond what a lot of course groups are willing to do, which is to go directly within and ask spirit and say, this is what I'm looking at. These are the blocks to love in my life, and I'm willing to look at it directly in the light. This is going to go all over the world. It's going to be, that's been my understanding from the second time I heard Kay speak. I just had this image that this was the next step. And that is where people are no longer willing just to talk about everything, but they really want to ask Jesus, what's the guidance here? What do I need to see?
Well, I certainly see the value of it. And I wasn't even thinking about the recording when I brought that up. I was just thinking about that group. And I wasn't expressing that anybody else is doing anything wrong. I was just saying that I'm not participating there. I'm just letting you know. But I can change my name to my initials and be a leaf if I really want privacy here. And I just think, you know, everybody is where they are with everything. And a lot of times, for things to be healing, sometimes and maybe this goes against the Course, because we're supposed to, like, you know, I create what I defend against and stuff. But I do know, yeah, so I don't know what to say. I'll just listen to guidance, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I did join this group because it seems like it does go deeper than just discussing the Course. But I don't know how comfortable I am, honestly, about sharing personal stuff. And when I came in on the group, sounded like someone was sharing something very personal, which is fine. But if it's recorded and shared with other people, I have to like just think about that.
Yes, and if you'll notice, and maybe we don't talk about personal stories. There's no storytelling that goes on. It's like, what are the blocks in my mind to love? And so we're not giving away personal information. I mean, people here at the center, we hardly know who has children or what. We don't know about each other's personal lives. It's just, we're not sitting around talking like that. It's like you open your mouth. Is it divine expression? Don't say anything. Boy, that's the banks of the river, honey. So yeah, but I mean, you got to want it. You've got to be willing to stick with it. And I'm like some of the rest of you have said, it's like, okay, enough already. Been through the Course, blah, 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 blah. And I'm ready for something deeper. I really want to go for God. And if that's it, I don't, you know, I'm not sending off my videos. I do 5 minutes with Mary, supposedly every week. Boy, oh boy, if that doesn't put you on the spot, you know, okay, what's Jesus been teaching me this week? What have I been, you know, what have I been railing about, and what have I been willing to accept as instruction? But it has nothing to do with my children or my relationships or who sees it. I'm just trying to really be honest, because it's about that inner process and my relationship with God. And all the rest of it, the chips will fall where they may. I just am not really interested in, you know, where the chips are anymore. And it's, you know, like I say, yeah, anyway.
And your label says K, but you're not K, right?
I am not. Yeah, I do try to explain that to people. I'm Mary.
You're Mary.
I'm going to put a tattoo on my forehead. I'm
Mary
Mary.
K.
Yeah, it's K's account, so her name always shows up.
Right.
You know what? I'll change my name on here to K, and then it'll all be K.
We'll all change our names to K. Nobody will ever know.
I literally, we all can. I can give myself any name here. So I'll listen to guidance and use my creativity. If I'm Fifth Diller next time, don't let it throw you.
And I might steal your idea. I might steal your idea and come as a leaf.
Yes. You can come as a leaf named Sarah Silverman. That's what you can do.
We're going to get very creative here. Under guidance.
Under guidance.
My silliness is pretty much, that's my best guidance, is when I'm silly.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. I can't even express my gratitude, and I can also send a message to all of you. That's just in a direct message. Those of you I'm friends with on Facebook, I'm just so grateful. This is just a very healing thing that we're doing, as you all know, because you're all doing it.
I was hearing one other thing, Leo, for you. And that is our Facebook Messenger group. That's only, you have to be invited to that and admitted to that. And it's only those who are joining, who are committed to joining. So if you would like to share in that.
Is that okay? I thought that might annoy people, because one time I posted 2 sentences and somebody left the group, and I was like, what?
It had nothing to do with you.
Oh my God.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll drop. That could maybe interest people on that line and joining us if I said, "Oh, this is me." Okay.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is what Jesus is showing me, or is teaching me this, or, you know, I'm looking at this desire, or is anyone available to join? Those are the main kind of like.
No, that's fine. I mean, I guess what I wanted to share is that rather than this intensified spiritual path making me more isolated and more alone, the voice keeps telling me to do little things that are more connecting. I don't want to do them. And even telling me to do my dishes. And then I didn't know that somebody was going to end up being in my apartment later that day. You know what I mean? It's just like, but it seems to be putting me in the world more and connecting me to people more. And I see how I have been pushing a lot of connection away, and how I have, my ego has a resistance. So I guess it's just leading me to join more. And so that makes me feel very hopeful about this awakening, because it's not like it's going to have this joining, and then suddenly you're isolated alone with God in some light field and you're not yourself anymore. It's like, no, I'm going to be like, no, I can see that I'm going to be even more joined. It's like, oh, this is a process of being more connected to people I already love. It's not about becoming isolated from them. And that when I cross this goddamn motherfucking bridge, it's gonna be just more of that, not less. It's not like it's gonna be sudden horrifying isolation. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So now you know what I was going to share on the Light Brigade. I probably wouldn't have said goddamn motherfucking bridge on there.
Well, I
I'm
was
sure
gonna
all
say,
the
watch
lines
your
of the TVs
language,
broke
Lael.
down, all
This
the
is being
computers.
recorded. No.
That's Kathy, you have to understand, that's the one thing I don't care if anybody hears me use those words. It's having people associate me with Jesus in some kind of serious, somber way. That's what makes me uncomfortable. They can hear me say fuck 20,000 times. I don't care. That's just me. Everybody's different culturally.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God. Well, growing up Jewish, I kind of have this, I kind of relate a little bit.
Well, my last name is Gold, so yeah, we can relate on that, Lynn. Anyway, this has been really lovely. I love you all a lot. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was good meeting you all.
Yes,
Next time,
welcome,
hopefully I'll be
welcome.
more present.
Yeah, and change your name. We're all changing our name to Kay.
That's right. We got K with different last initials.
I'll let Kay know. All right. Love you all. Thank you.
Love you. Thank you
Thank you.
guys.
Bye.
Oh, by the way, Saturday evening at 7 o'clock, we're having a trilogy on the power of thought. And there's an announcement that's gone out, so you might check it out on the Facebook page. We'll be making announcements in Messenger. So what we do is we look at episodes, 3 episodes of Star Trek, and then Kay gets commentary from Jesus, and it's very powerful.
We watched the episodes right on the Zoom. Is that right?
What's
Yes.
that?
We watched the episodes right on the Zoom.
Yes.
Yep.
We share screen. We watch it right on. So
I'm
it'll
so
go from
excited
7 to probably 10.
Is it okay if I have no experience as a Trekkie and I've only ever watched a couple episodes?
Oh
my
honey,
God,
you'll
I
get
am
struck
such a
by
Trekkie.
lightning. Yeah.
I am
love
such
it.
a Trekkie.
You'll love it. The commentary is awesome.
Okay, that sounds fun.
Okay.
All right. See you
you
then.
all.
Bye.
Oh, I love you and honor you. Thank you so much.
Right
too,
back at you,
Nancy.
Nancy.
Bye, Mary.
Recording